Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome, my pretties, to the AC Revelations celebration of the AC 15. The anniversary for the 15 years of Assassin's Creed. Um, with me are right now Arsh from Assassin's Creed Landmarks, Historian's Perspective, and Zark from as Master Hecate's Ceremonials with the YouTube channel of the same name. And what we're going to be doing today is a little bit special. So what we're going to do is collaborate a little bit with the ones who came before. So they started this campaign every year. They have a campaign actually. And the one from this year is going to run from the 15th of August of this year to the 10th of September. And it's titled Assassins in Need. It's Heart of the Creed. And the goal is to raise money for the British Heart Foundation and the American Heart Association, which are two incredible organizations that provide critical cardiovascular medical research and education to facilities around the world. So the target that they have is £1,500. I think they can actually make it. I don't think they're going that bad. Last time I checked, I think they were going, right now they are with £355. So it's not going bad. I think that we're not even halfway the fundraiser and they're going quite well. So anyone that is watching this right now, you can find the link to this website, to this GoFundMe below in the description. And you can join and you can just, try and donate a little bit and help some people in need. I think they also are. There's a possibility of buying some portraits from Lisa Zaman, if I'm not wrong. They are done in it's pencil work. They're beautiful. If you find her social media on her profile on Twitter, it's amazing. And when you buy, when you donate, you can actually maybe buy one of these portraits. I will put maybe this on the description below. But if you have Twitter, you can always go and find her. And if you're watching this, actually, you probably who Lisa is because she's a really good artist. So, having said that, I think that's pretty much it. We can begin with the actual stream. And the first thing we're going to be doing is going through the Hagia Sophia. And I'm giving the floor to my collaborator, Arsh. I hope you enjoy this. And from time to time, just so you don't forget, we're going to have trivia questions. So I hope that you enjoy that. And there's going to be a giveaway. So I think Arsh can explain you a little bit more about this. I'm giving the floor to him. Um, I'm going to stop you for a second because apparently there's no sound coming through. So I don't know why. I'm going to check, but give me just a moment. Oh, you can hear you have YouTube on and you can hear the yourselves. Okay, but hello, hello. Okay, yeah. No, I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it. Don't worry. I'm fixing it right now. Don't worry. Okay,
Yeah,
it
hopefully you
should
can hear
work.
me as well.
It should work right now.
Technical issues, guys. Juno's within us. Just a second.
Testing, testing. Okay, I can hear me now.
That is amazing.
Okay, so it
That is
worked?
amazing.
Yeah.
Ah, perfect. Okay. So let's go back to the trivia question, and I'm really sorry if anyone actually missed the introduction and everything.
Yeah. So to reintroduce myself, my name is Zark. Uh, Also known as Master Hekate Ceremonials. This is my first time. I'm familiar with all you guys from or from new subscribers. If this is your first time hearing my voice, well, this is my voice. Just a quick shout out to Miss Benzai B in the chat. Magandang gabi bayan. At ngayong gabi, samahan mo kami sa Ottoman Constantinople. Join us in Ottoman Constantinople, also known as Istanbul, and also our first trivia question from Assassin's Creed Revelations. Complete the following sentence said by Yusuf Tazim. Unless the legend is a lie, you are the man I long to meet, renowned master and mentor. Complete the quote.
Can you give them choices?
And I'm about to copy them.
To be honest, if you're good enough, you don't really need the choices. It's a very epic,
it's a very memorable.
yeah, very memorable. That's it.
I don't remember this moment, guys. I'm an assassin. I'm just kidding. No, I remember this
Just so
moment.
you know, when someone puts down the right answer, I already have the double check for you because I know this answer by heart. So when someone puts it in, I will then comment the correct answer. Hello
Nice.
there.
I love this moment. I love this moment so much.
Yeah, and Miss Benzie had it first.
And yes, I was gonna say my kapabayan Meg came up with the correct answer, so that means Meg will pick the next trivia question after we'll get to pick the next trivia question after Arsh covers the Hagia Sophia. So and welcome James to the stream. And without further ado, I will hand it over to Arsh, and we will cover the Hagia Sophia.
Perfect timing. I just posted my end of the of the tweet. All right. So, the Hagia Sophia, also a thing like it's a pretty big landmark. Are we in the memory right now?
It's loading right now. So
It's
yeah, the
it's
cinematic is
loading.
appearing. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. There we go. We are in the Hagia Sophia. So let's cover it. So guys, I will focus on Hagia Sophia's rough history and cover its diverse architecture through Christian and Muslim rule, and also link it to the Vikings later because AC Valhalla has to have a chance over here. All right, so guys, in 360 AD, Istanbul was Constantinople, ruled by Emperor Constantius II. Um, he was the first. He built the first Megale Ecclesia, which was the great church, on the same ground as Hagia Sophia. The problem was it had a wooden roof. It was it was easy to burn, but later in uh, Later in 404, Emperor Arcadius had angered the public so much that they retaliated with burning the church. I mean, the one thing you don't do is anger the public. But anyway, in 415, Emperor Theodosius II rebuilt Hagia Sophia with some upgrades, and again, he built it with a wooden roof. They're not learning from their past. By Justinian the First rule in 532, this church was doing great. It had lived for more than 100 years. It was great, but Justinian had extreme measures put to get back Roman lands, and he had increased the taxes on his people. So again, people were pissed off, and hence down went the church, which was, where Hagia Sophia was. By the way, all the churches that were in Hagia Sophia's place were in the same place. It just got rebuilt and rebuilt.
Cut out.
I cut out.
You're sounding good to me. I don't know what's wrong.
I can hear you from the stream. I heard you.
Oh, okay. You guys can still hear me? Hello?
I can hear you. Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, all right. Cool. Well, let's continue. So after people were pissed off, these people burned down the Hagia Sophia, and it was so damaged that Emperor Justinian wasn't about to forget his Greek Orthodox faith. He took it all down and built a new basilica instead. And this is what you see in AC Revelations and today, in real life history. You see what Justinian built. It's Justinian's Hagia Sophia. This isn't to say that it wasn't raided. Because when the Muslim rule came in 1453, which was when the Byzantine Empire ended, and when the Roman Empire as a whole ended, the Roman Empire lived for a long time, and then it was cut down to just the Byzantine Empire, and that was gone. And Mehmed II ended the Roman Empire, and he had his subjects change the landmark of the he had his subjects change the landmark from a church to a mosque due to his Muslim faith. Hence, you now see that Hagia Sophia's architecture is a mix of Christian and Muslim faith. So, talking about the architecture, let's start with its Christian influence first. Justinian hoped that the Hagia Sophia would be the symbol of the Byzantine Empire. So he decreed that all provinces under his rule send architectural pieces for use in construction. For example, Hagia Sophia's marble was Anatolian. Its 104 columns were from Ephesus and Egypt. But when Muslim architecture came, they installed panels that feature the names of Allah, the Prophet Muhammad, the first four caliphs, and the Prophet's two grandsons. A mihrab, meaning altar, was placed in the direction of Mecca, the holy city of Islam, to pray. Because in Muslim tradition, you pray in direction of Mecca. Now, this is where our boy Suleiman the Magnificent comes in, because, well, you see Suleiman the Magnificent in game in AC Revelations, as we are going to see later on. He would later add the ornate candle holders in the Hagia Sophia, which the Hagia Sophia is known for. What you see inside the Hagia Sophia right now are not the candle holders of today, because Suleiman hasn't gone to Hungary and conquered it yet. The whole reason it was put there is because in 1526 Suleiman conquered Hungary, and it was a decisive battle that won him Hungary. But sticking to the topic, going outside of the Hagia Sophia, you well, we are not outside the Hagia Sophia. Are we outside the Hagia Sophia right now?
I am going to go now because I just finished the memory, so I'm just gonna run towards it.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. Okay. So let's see. Let's see where we are right now. Maybe we are outside. I think we are outside of Hagia Sophia, right?
I'm not sure. I'm going to check. We should not be far though.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we are.
We are, you right?
Like, yeah. It's like literally up there, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's this, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally up there. Just like climb the building and you'll see it. But yeah, so perfect timing. Sticking when you go outside of the Hagia Sophia, you will see the four dominating minarets. The minarets are tall towers around the landmark. So there are like four of them. This was added there by the Ottomans for reason of the muezzin call, which was the Muslim call to prayer, and for the fortification of Hagia Sophia against earthquakes of that time. Finally, we come to the connection of Hagia Sophia to the Vikings. You see, runes can be found in Hagia Sophia, and I will later post these runes to my Twitter if you guys want to see it. But my sources say that one or two Vikings were in Hagia Sophia and they wrote their names. Their names were Havdin and R, as in A-R-E. Well, how can this be? Because this is because Vikings and the Byzantine Empire had a deal in the 9th century. This deal brought Vikings to be part of the Byzantine army, calling them the Varangian Guard. Varangian is Greek for Viking. This peace treaty deal was struck between the Kievan Rus, which were the first Slavic state, and the Byzantine army in the 9th century. Therefore, Havdin and R must have been part of the Varangian Guard to be in the Hagia Sophia. So, with that information, I conclude Hagia Sophia's topic.
Perfect. That's great. That was very interesting. Thank you. What do we need to cover next?
Let's see.
The city itself, Constantinople.
Oh, right. And what memory is that?
Sequence 2 memory 1, I believe. Yes.
Sequence 2. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that's the introduction to the city. That's beautiful. I think everyone is going to enjoy this. Sequence 2, memory 1, yes?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Let's do it. Guys, I think whenever you feel like it, there will be a link in the description below for the Assassins in Need fundraiser. If you feel inclined to donate, then there's a link below to do so. Okay?
Okay, we all set?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the city of Constantinople, which would soon become Istanbul, as shown in the game. And I'm going to talk about how we got there from Constantine christening it to its capture by the Turks in 1453. So let's get started with Constantinople. Culturally, Constantinople fostered a fusion of custom art and architecture from the eastern regions of the empire with the classical forms of Roman antiquity. The religion was Christian, the organization was Roman, and the language and outlook was Greek. The concept of the divine right of kings, the rulers who were defended of the faith, as opposed to the king as divine himself, evolved from here. Constantine's new city walls tripled the size of Byzantium, which is what the name of the city was prior to Constantine's christening, which now contain imperial buildings such as a completed hippodrome, which is built by Septimius Severus, a huge palace, legislative halls, several imposing churches, and streets decorated with multitudes of statues taken from rival cities. In addition to other attractions of the capital, free bread and citizenship were bestowed on those settlers who would fill the empty reaches beyond the old walls. There was, furthermore, a welcome for Christians, a tolerance of other beliefs, and benevolence toward Jews. In 381, it became the seat of a patriarch who was second in honor to the Bishop of Rome. The patriarch of Constantinople is still first among equals, primus inter pares, among the primates of the Eastern Orthodox Church. Constantine inaugurated the first ecumenical councils. The first six were held in or near Constantinople. By the end of the 4th century, Constantine's walls had become too confining for the wealthy and populous metropolis. St. John Chrysostom, writing at the end of the century, said many nobles had 10 to 20 houses and owned between 1 to 2,000 slaves. Doors were often made of ivory, floors were made of mosaic or were covered in costly rugs, and beds and couches were overlaid with precious metals. During the reign of Justinian, from 527 to 565, medieval Constantinople attained its zenith. At the beginning of this reign, the population was estimated to have been around 500,000. By 532, a large part of the city had been burned and many of the population killed in the course of a repression of the Nika insurrection, an uprising of the Hippodrome factions. The rebuilding of the ravaged city gave Justinian the opportunity to engage in a program of magnificent construction, of which many buildings still remain today. In 542, the city was struck by a plague that is said to have killed 3 out of every 5 inhabitants. The decline of Constantinople dates from this catastrophe. Not only the capital, but the whole empire languished, and a slow recovery was not visible until the 9th century. In 1203, the armies of the Fourth Crusade, deflected from their objective in the Holy Land, appeared before Constantinople ostensibly to restore the legitimate Byzantine Empire Isaac II. Although the city fell, it remained under its own governorship for over a year. In 1261, Constantinople was retaken by Michael VIII Palaiologos, Greek Emperor of Nicaea. For the next 2 centuries, the shrunken Byzantine Empire, threatened both from the west and by the rising power of the Ottoman Turks in Asia Minor, led a precarious existence. Some construction was carried out in the late 13th and early 14th century, but therefore the city was in decay, full of ruins and tracts of deserted ground, contrasting with the prosperous condition of Galata across the Golden Horn, which had been granted by the Janissaries by the Byzantine ruler Michael VIII. When the Turks crossed into Europe in the mid-14th century, the fate of Constantinople was all but sealed, and Constantinople and the whole Roman Empire, in fact, met its end in 1453. And that is the end of it.
Okay, perfect. Because I think
That was amazingly good.
yeah, and I think the memory is almost over. So thanks a lot for the information. That was quite thorough.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, as the memory is over, let's go over another trivia question, huh?
I was gonna say, so since Meg was the one who got it correct the last time, can she choose the game for the next trivia question? I'll also type it in the chat.
Meg is always correct. Let's see.
I think Meg just has an inside scoop. Only way it's possible.
Yep.
I must also say, because like when we were playing through the mission, like if anyone else didn't catch it, we had the answer to the last trivia question, which is Ezio Auditore de la la la, and Meg picked Brotherhood, so we are gonna go to Brotherhood. Okay, so all right, so
And how coincidental was it that we just passed by that memory, you guys?
yeah.
By the way, we're
Ah.
crossing across a lot of memories that are fan favorites, so stay around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're going to see some very, very memorable quotes from this game.
Yeah, we have a lot of topics to go through. I think we have 10 topics in total. So, yeah, let's hear the trivia question.
All right, so I typed it in the chat, but I'll say it out over here. Who rescued Ezio and took him to Rome after escaping the siege of Monteregione? Is it A. La Volpe, B. Bartolomeo da Viano, C. And James was the one who is correct. James is correct. Niccolo Machiavelli. So that means James will
Actually,
pick the. What's up?
I believe my answer was more correct, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, the writers, Jeffrey O.
Yeah.
Holland.
Yeah. And also to James in the chat, don't be sorry. There's no that was not fast. That was enough. That was enough for you to win.
Yeah,
And you get
exactly.
to you get to pick the next question for the next trivia in about a couple topics time. So I will hand it over to my co-hosts as we cover the next topic.
One thing I have to say is that if James didn't answer that fast, probably Meg would have stepped all over him. So
I know.
you
I
have
know.
to be fast.
Meg, you don't get all of them. Okay, so for this memory, we are going over uh, two memories because it is the Galata Tower. So are we at the Galata Tower yet?
Not yet. It's first the hook blade and then the Galata Tower, but you can already start talking
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
Got it. Let's go. All right. So the Galata Tower was used as a long-term fire watchtower and was named as Galata Fire Tower. Its inner diameter on the ground is 8.95 meters. That makes it 29 feet in diameter, and the wall thickness is 3.75 meters, which is 12 feet. The outer diameter of the tower is 16.45 meters, which is 54 feet, and 17.17 meters, 56 feet from the ground in the body. Its height and this is the last number you're gonna hear. Its height is 62.59 meters, which is 205 feet. The Galata Tower, uh, which is called the Galata Kolesi, was first built by the Byzantine Emperor. Just is it Justinius or Justinianus? Yeah, sorry, by Emperor Justinianus in 507 to 508 as a lighthouse. The tower was partly destroyed during the Fourth Crusade, though. Its first building material was wood. The Genoese rebuilt the current tower in 1348 to 49 and gave its characteristic shape during the power conflicts in the Byzantine Empire between between Ioannis Palaiologos and his regent Ioannis Cantacuzénos. The tower was raised between 1445 and 1446 years by Baldassare Marufo. It was damaged by an earthquake in the 1500s and was repaired by architect Murad bin Hayreddin. After the tower is repaired during the Selim period, a bay window is added to the upper floor of the tower. In 1831, the tower suffered another fire and Mahmud rose 2 more floors above the tower, and the top of the tower is covered with the famous cone-shaped roof cover. The building was last repaired in 1967, actually. This building was a viewing terrace that this building has a viewing terrace that allows a 360 view of Istanbul, as you will see later. Yusuf and Ezio enjoying later on. In the 16th century, it was used as a shelter by the Christians who were prisoners of war belonging to the Sultan, who worked in Qasim Pasha shipyard, together with other bastions. An unknown Spaniard who was captured by the Turks in 1552 tells that they lived in these towers and that the dead were buried in the ditches. French Pierre Les. This is another French name that I am bad in. Pierre Lescalpierre. I think, yeah, Pierre Lescalpierre, who came to Istanbul in 1574, wrote that there was a high and powerful bastion at the highest point of Galata, and that it was used as a dungeon at that time. In 1632, the scientist Hezarfen Ahmet Çelebi was able to complete the first human flight by using artificial wings, allegedly inspired by Leonardo da Vinci's work. Wink wink to AC2 and AC Brotherhood. He was able to fly from Galata Tower to Iskandar Dogan Square and lasted 3,558 meters, or around 2.2 miles. In 2020, the Galata Tower was restored, and nowadays it can be visited. It contains a museum and a restaurant on the highest floor of the tower. So if you want a view like Ezio and Yusuf are enjoying right now, go and visit it and have a fun lunch, dinner, breakfast over there, and enjoy the Galata Tower.
Just in time, perfect. I had to stop the first memory because I thought if I did the hook blade training that I wouldn't have enough time. But yeah, I think this is enough. So I'll just do the leap of
Perform the
faith.
leap of faith. Perform it. You have to perform it. There we go. By the way, do not perform a leap of faith from the Galata Tower, okay? We're not encouraging that.
And if you do, none of us endorse it. We are not responsible for any damages or injuries sustained.
Yeah, okay?
Okay, perfect. Let's go with the next. What do we have next?
What do we have next? That is a good question.
The
But
next
if you
We,
survive,
is
make sure to tell us all about it.
yeah, we have Piri Reis, which will be all about. I think Zark will cover this.
yes, I will be doing that. Piri Reis
Wait,
in
wait.
Revelations. You
Before
Oh
you
wait, wait.
begin, I need to know
the
the sequence in memory.
Yeah, so it's sequence 3, memory 4.
Okay,
yes.
thanks.
Uh huh.
All right, so Piri Reis in game, you may know him as just the admiral with a shop for the bomb missions and making the bombs. However, in history, Piri Reis is well known is well known as a really great cartographer, or a map maker, and also for his book and navigation. So going further into his life,
Uh,
we there is no
just one
what's up.
moment. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I cannot replay that specific mission because it's just learning how to bombcraft. So I think what I'm going to do is just go visit him in the bazaar. Okay.
Okay, sure
Okay.
thing, sure thing. So so anyway, to get back, there is no exact information about his birth. However, Muhyiddin Piri, his birth name, was born between 1465 and 1470 in Gallipoli, which was a significant Ottoman naval base at the time, and I think it still is because Gallipoli was a key location in World War One. Anyway, back to Piri. Piri worked on his uncle's ship for 14 years, where he learned skills in sailing and navigating. His uncle was a famous sailor and Ottoman admiral in the Mediterranean by the name of Kemal Reis. With Kemal Reis, Piri participated in raids against France, Sardinia, Sicily, and Corsica. One of Kemal Reis's campaigns with Piri was to Spain to evacuate Muslims from Granada. He had also evacuated Muslim and Jewish refugees from Spain to North Africa as well. Um, Piri himself had joined the Ottoman Navy, also better known as the Ottoman Fleet, in 1494, and where he gained a reputation as a brilliant naval commander in sea battles between 1499 and 1502. Kemal Reis died unexpectedly in a maritime disaster in 1511, and at that event, Piri returned to Gallipoli and started working on maps and as well as his book of navigation, which two of which will be detailed later. Eventually, in the midst of it, over the course of his military career, Piri rose to the rank of Reis, or an admiral, as commander of the Ottoman fleet and admiral of the fleet for Egypt, which became an Ottoman territory after being conquered during the reign of Suleiman the First, better known as Suleiman the Magnificent. More on him later. After many battles in Egypt, the Mediterranean, and the Persian Gulf, Piri Reis settled in Egypt. However, he refused to give support to the Ottoman governors of Basra and Egypt. And because of that refusal, Piri Reis was beheaded in 1533, 1553, or 1554. Date unknown, but most sources pin the date to around 1554. Now, to his contributions. First is a map of the world from 1513. which was discovered on October 9th, 1929, by a man named Gustav A. Diesmann, who was invited by the Turkish Ministry of Education to catalog non-Arabic materials in Topkapi Palace. While he was looking through the materials in Topkapi Palace, he found old bundles of maps that were hidden away. And along with another scholar, he realized that he found fragment of a 1513 world map. It is clear that this map was originally much larger. It was drawn on gazelle skin, and it was estimated that only a third of the original map survived. Due to a damaged corner, the official fragment size varies, but it is approximately 90 centimeters by 63 centimeters, or 35 inches by 24 inches. The map is a portolan chart with four wind roses and associated rhomb lines. Geographically, this map piece shows Western Africa, the Atlantic Ocean, South America, and some of North America and the Caribbean Sea. It also portrays South America longitudinally correct in relation to Africa and is the only 16th century map to do so. Now, why is this significant? Because at around 1513, maps of the Old World were fairly accurate. However, maps of the New World were in a state of flux, with information being added as ships returned home. See, this was the age of imperialism, colonization, exploration. To put it mildly, European explorers were very protective of their map knowledge and were not inclined to share. While some areas are depicted correctly on the 1513 map, the coast of North America and the southern coast of South America are not. The Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494 between Spain and Portugal split the New World between these two nations. It gave the lion's share to Spain, with only the eastern part of South America to the Portuguese. South America has an unusually curved shape. Cape Horn had not yet been discovered. There are several controversial theories surrounding this odd shape, with one suggesting that this curve is an early depiction of Antarctica. The Piri Reis map fragment is covered in notes and Reis's and Piri's comments. Fortunately, he wrote sources of his information on the undamaged part of the map in Central and South America. He states that he used about 20 references to draw his map: 8 Ptolemaic maps, an Arabic map of India, and 4 new Portuguese maps from Sind on the Indian Ocean, and Christopher Columbus's map of the New World. However, because Christopher Columbus's world map is lost to history, the Piri Reis map of 1513 is the earliest map depicting American coasts. In 1517, Piri Reis had presented this map during the Egyptian campaign to Sultan Selim I, whom you see at the end of Revelations. During the campaign, during his time in Egypt, Piri actually went to Cairo and drew out this territory in the Nile River. As for the map today, the fragment that was found is in the library of Topkapi Palace, but is not on public display. And again, this map holds major historical value for being drawn very closely to present-day maps, given the scientific tools available in the 16th century. And finally, we have his book of navigation, or the Kitabi Bariye, if I pronounced that correctly. My apologies if I didn't. In 1521, Piri Reis prepared the first edition of the Book of Navigation and offered it. This came about during the time in Egypt, where under orders of the Sultan, he was accompanied by a Grand Vizier by the name of Ibrahim Pasha in 1524. They were caught during a sea storm, and they had to take shelter during one of their voyages. And the discussion that they had during that shelter was that Ibrahim Pasha advised Piri to elaborate on his work and present it to the Sultan, which at this point was Suleiman the Magnificent. Based on scientific principles and for use of military and civil users, the Book of Navigation is not only an atlas containing information on the geographical and economic and social aspects of almost all the coasts on the Mediterranean, but also a literary work incorporating poems, intended to describe the geographical themes as well as the textual information pertaining to each map region. Completing his work in 1526, Piri Reis presented it to the Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent and earned his praise. The most important feature of this book of navigation is the descriptive notes, which provide almost every sort of information about every map region. In this respect, the Book of Navigation is considered a very critical book of geography and pioneer of atlases. There's actually a really good paper that I had found on the Book of Navigation, and we will link it to you in the description. And that's about all I have for Piri Reis.
Okay, great.
That was
Nice.
awesome, dude. I didn't know Piri Reis this much. Like he was badass. Like even in thing like well the kitab you're talking about, Kitab al Bahriye, in Arabic we say it Kitab al Bahriya, thing. It translates to the Book of Oceans, basically.
Yes, that's what I read too, like the Book of the Sea, and that was that was a nice pronunciation, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. I think I come from Iraq, so it comes natural.
Oh, I didn't know that. Nice.
Yeah, it comes natural. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for that. It was really really educational.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So, guys, we arrive. I think Assassin's Creed Mac also had some plans to make over here. Let me see here.
I was gonna say just the information that Assassin's Creed Mac put over here. Like Piri Reis' ship is shown to be a galleon, while the design would be a mainstay in the Atlantic fleets. The Ottomans, like most Mediterranean, relied on galleys to. Oh, I think he's typing in more facts, but yeah, like and he also, to project naval power, didn't build galleon-style sailing ships in any significant number during this period. The ship is shown with guns mounted on hinged ports in the lower deck. Whoa!
Nice.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Mac. If you wanna collaborate with us and research with us, hit us up, dude.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's like DM me. I think. Also, he said Assassin's Creed Revelations features some of the ancient painting arts in various places, but most of them are low graphics or low resolution. Thus, you can't know it. That's interesting. And here's a fact: the historical Shakulu rebellion took place in the Taurus Mountains in southern Anatolia, not Cappadocia. Yeah. We will also be going over Shakulu for a short segment of the stream, because I mean, you make an AC Revelations stream and you can't cover Shakulu, you gotta cover Shakulu, you know? So yeah, looking forward to that. Okay, so now that we have crossed Piri Reis, I think it is time for our third trivia question, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes, and I think it was James who got the last one. So if James can pick the game for the next one, if he didn't say it.
Yeah, and I think the fourth question, I think it will be a historical question, actually. I think will be for the giveaway of Ezio collection, which will be on Switch. and it has to be in the U.S. Um, uh, unfortunately, because I've been having problems with the European code. So, if you are from the U.S., then I can give you the Ezio collection giveaway, and you have to have like some sort of communication with me, either a Discord or Twitter. So yeah, I'm just preparing you for that, just to let you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that too, because I thought that was gonna be everywhere. But yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
James picked Unity, and the question is, which was the armor that you could get if you completed all of Nostradamus's Enigma? Is it the armor of Altair? Is it an armor of Ezio? Is it the armor? You're gonna give up that easily, James? Are you sure about that? Because I'm typing in the choices over here. So, but anyway, the choices are: is it the armor of Altair, an armor of Ezio, the armor of Toma de Carnelion, or an armor of Edward?
The question again was community. Which was the armor you could get if you completed all the instruments and enigmas? Hmm.
And Meg answered C, which is the armor of Thomas de Carnelion, which is correct. So Meg gets to pick the next game for the next trivia after this next topic.
So the next topic
It sounds
is
great.
Suleiman, yes?
Yes. Yes, it is. I'm just reacting to Assassin's Creed Max uh, comment of thing
Yeah.
Memento Gallery right now
Yeah.
because we went over a AC Unity question. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah. The next topic is none other than Suleiman the Magnificent himself. Uh, let's Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. Let me see. Let me get my research on him. Uh, and there we go. So,
Sequence 4 memory 1, by the way.
yep.
Yeah, it's loaded already. It's already on the stream.
We actually are in the hippodrome right now. By the way, the hippodrome was a thing since Constantine the First rule, and uh, an interesting fact, just an interesting fact about the hippodrome. AC Revelations and AC Odyssey are actually connected because there was a pillar in the hippodrome that you could see. Uh, I I forgot what the pillar's name was. I'll do a historical research on it and write it up in the chat. But yeah, that pillar was saved from the ancient Greeks. It was taken as a conquest treasure, and it survived all the way up to the hippodrome's time, where it was placed over there. But by AC Revelations, that that thing was not featured in AC Revelations because, well, AC Odyssey is like way off. But yeah, it's just an interesting fact that a landmark had something that another game had. which was quite interesting. Anyway, I'll research more about it and write it up in the chat. I'm just a history geek here. Okay, so now that we have reached the Topkapi Palace almost, let's go over Suleiman the Magnificent. So Suleiman the Magnificent was the longest reigning sultan of the Ottoman Empire. But before he came to be that, he had to have a lot of education. He was also the only son of the Sultan Selim I, and his mom, Aisha Hafsa Sultan of the Crimean Khanate, born on he was born to them on November 4th, 1494, 41 years after the fall of Constantinople, which we will be going over later on. Suleiman was generally thought of as a pleasant, wise, and good-hearted person. As a 7-year-old kid, he studied at Topkapi Palace, which is where we're at right now, infiltrating it, and he learned theology, literature, history, science, and warfare there. His big role model was Alexander the Great. He would even later on program his military expansions by being inspired by Alexander himself. He was also fluent in many languages, such as Arabic, Serbian, Chagatai, Turkish, Urdu, Farsi, and of course his native tongue, his Ottoman Turkish. Thing being fluent in so many languages is so inspiring. By the way, at age 15, he started his governorship, being a provincial governor in Bolu, which is in northern Anatolia. Theodosia. Oh wait, sorry, we're not there yet. So this governorship of Bolu was during his grandfather's reign. His grandfather was Bayezid II. But following objections from his uncle Ahmet, who you see is like the villain of AC Revelations, following objections from his uncle Ahmet to Bayezid II, his grandfather Suleiman's post of provincial governor was changed to Theodosia, or Kaffa, which was his mother's homeland city in Crimea. This was due to Ahmet being threatened by his nephew, not wanting him to be close to Istanbul due to succession reasons. This is what led Suleiman's father Selim to see that his father is favoring his older brother Ahmet instead of him, which was portrayed in AC Revelations. Speaking of, this is also where we see Suleiman returning to Constantinople with Ezio, as he has been a governor by now and is returning from his Hajj. A Hajj is a pilgrimage to Mecca in the last month of the year that all Muslims are expected to make at least once in their lifetime. Also, he may have stayed in the capital for some time while his father struggled with Sultan Bayezid II and the succession problems. But under Suleiman's father, Selim the First's reign later on, he entrusted his son with the governorship of different regions within the Ottoman Empire, that being Manisa and Adrianople. As his father expanded the Ottoman Empire fiercely, Suleiman was learning from his father, yet was regarded to as being a man that was still pleasant, wise, and good-hearted. He remained like this most of his life, but he also had his fierce side from his father. I will be going over his father's conquest later on, but for now, let's focus on Suleiman. By the way, can we hear Ezio singing? Guys?
Can we hear Ezio singing?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Let me check.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
They don't hear any
I-
game audio.
I don't hear any game audio either.
That's strange, but people could hear it before, no?
Yeah. I'm not hearing it.
Okay, I'm gonna put the volume up.
Okay. Yeah, because we gotta hear Ezio singing in this one, guys. Come on. Let me see.
Okay, it should work now.
It should. See.
Still no sound?
I don't hear anything. I don't hear the game audio. I can only hear our audio. I don't hear anything. I don't hear the game.
Weird.
Let me see.
What James said, you may have to adjust the sound levels of the game.
Yeah, I'm going to check, yeah.
Because it's a party, we gotta hear Ezio singing while I'm talking about his friend Suleiman the Magnificent. We'll see. Like, he was magnificent, but at some points he wasn't magnificent, and that was really well captured in AC Revelations as like it was like a cautionary tale to like come, in the future as he was facing like
Okay, is it better
the
now?
real
Can
life
you hear it now?
decision. See.
I don't hear anything in this, and I think this.
Well, it was paused because I was alt tabbing, but can you hear it now?
Vaguely.
Okay, I see.
Actually, I don't hear their. Actually.
Okay, I'm gonna put it all the way
I don't
up,
hear their dialogue.
and I'm going to put everything else up. Weird, because I was testing not long ago, and see, it's maxed up to make sure that everyone could hear. Okay, let me see if now with the conversation.
By the way, guys, this would be a great time to do the thing. Let me see.
Okay, better now?
Still nothing.
Oh, that's
It's
really,
fine. It's fine.
It's really weird. I don't know why you cannot hear anything.
It's fine. Let's just move forward. The memory is like moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah. For reference later, you guys can just go to the memory later on. Anyway, So, where was I? Oh, yes. So, I will be going over his father's conquest later on. So, let's focus on Suleiman. So, at the age of 26, after his father died of a disease because of his military campaigns, Suleiman became the 10th Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. He was crowned with a four-tiered crown made just for him. Even the Pope didn't have that. Suleiman did. Um, anywho, uh, so he took Topkapi Palace to be his palace in his sultanate, which is again where we are right now. Uh, so I will not be going over his political campaigns because they are many, and it will diverge from the events that happened in AC Revelations. But I will talk about the change in law, arts, and culture Suleiman implemented, and how one action from his future as a sultan is translated into the game. So let's start with the law part first. As a lawgiver, Suleiman was involved in the law-making processes. He put together the Ottoman Code of Laws. He was merciful to the Christians and gave them more rights. He gave better taxes for importers and traders, and was a supporter of education, as he built many schools. Under his reign, arts and culture also flourished. He even wrote poetry in Persian and Turkish, having his pen name be uh, Muhibi, uh, and that is spelled like this. Let me see. I am gonna put it in the. There we go. That's his pen name. His poetry themes were of his wife and children. Suleiman was also a patron responsible for the creation of hundreds of artistic societies and a supporter of Ottoman architecture. Under his reign, he would restore the Jerusalem city walls, the Dome of the Rock. He would build mosques, palaces, and bridges. He would even build strong fortresses to defend the places he conquered. He also he also had many children from his wife and his concubines, mainly two women. Suleiman broke tradition and marrying a concubine uh, of his from his harem. This concubine was named Hurrem, Hurrem, but she's also named Roxolana. But he mainly like focused on two women in his life who were Roxolana and his other concubine, Mahedervan, the latter producing him his eldest son, Mustafa, who he would later unjustifiably execute because of succession reasons. You see, Suleiman was the first thing, like, since he was the first to break tradition and marry Roxolana, Roxolana was favored by him. And it, and he had like 14 children in total. Half of them died of diseases, half were left. His eldest son, Mustafa, from his concubine Mahidurvan, was sent away to govern in a far-off land so that Hurim, or Roxana, and Suleiman would have their kids close to them and their eldest and the eldest heir away. Roxolana conspired against Mustafa, though, and got Suleiman suspicious of Mustafa, to the point of him killing his own son by having him be suffocated to death. a hasty decision by him, and it was unjustified. The fictional quick judgment of accusing Tarek Barleti and assassinating him is an accurate representation of Suleiman's quick judgment, such as when he ordered the unjustified death of his son Mustafa upon coming to his succession story. But we will not cover much of the succession story as it diverges from the events in AC Revelation. But to end this on a fun note rather than a death note, coffee shops actually started to appear during Suleiman's reign, and the dried fine grains of coffee left on the mug were used to tell fortunes by older women. By older women. This tradition actually still exists to this day, as even my family, coming from Arabic traditions, practices it. And
Awesome.
yeah, and that is the conclusion of Suleiman the Magnificent on my end.
Okay, perfect. I think I actually fixed the thing with the audio of the game. We'll see it now in the next memory. But thanks a lot. That was a lot, but I think it was very educational, and it was a little bit slightly longer than the memory, but that's fine. I mean, we can adapt, so that's perfectly fine.
Believe me, if I covered Suleiman's political endeavors, we would have been here forever.
I can imagine he was called the Magnificent for a reason. So
Yeah, yeah. He was actually called the Magnificent by the West, and by the East he was called the Lawgiver, which is cool. You know?
Oh,
yeah, it's actually quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what's next? It's one more section and then another trivia question, right?
Yes. Now we cover the Janissaries, which
Oh.
which were the elite military of the Ottoman Empire.
And that sequence memory
now-
2, I think. No.
Let me see. Sequence
It's
6, memory
six.
2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sequence 6, memory 2. Okay.
We made this mistake yesterday too. Remember?
I know. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote about it has the floor. I'll just mute myself.
Okay. Yep. That's me. That's me. Cool. So, let's see here. All right. So let's get to know the elite military of Assassin's Creed Revelations and of the Ottoman Empire, the Janissaries. The Janissaries were taken as kids and were raised Muslim and were taught suitable skills to ensure growth of the Ottoman Empire. Their respect for brethren and culture amplified military morale. And that is what I'm going to be covering in this section. Are we in the memory right now? Yes, we are. Cool. So, in the 14th century, Ottomans started to conquer the Balkans rapidly. They passed a human tax called Devshirme. That's Devshrme. It was a human tax on Christian territories where their young sons were handed over to the Turkish Sultan as slaves. They were ensured. They were ensured to be healthier soldiers, growing up from young kids to, fine gentlemen. And since they were young kids, loyalty to the empire would be amplified even more thing, like, you know, instead of just having adults be loyal to the empire, because adults have, like, you know, other ambitions. Well, anyway, these boys were trained in the Turkish language, the Muslim, and in the Muslim religion and the arts of war. Not all were soldiers, though. Military school of Janissaries categorized boys by skills, IQ, you know, and these skills were archery, artillery, navy, engineering, art, music, and so on. As slaves, they did thrive. The Janissaries had around 200 ortas. Ortas is translated into divisions, who lived in big houses around Topkapi Palace. Their houses were furnished well. They were paid 3 to 4 times a year, usually when foreign dignitaries showed up. They were well cared for, but had to uphold their code of discipline as well. Their equipment and clothes, equipment such as, you know, their bows, their swords, shields, and their clothes were given to them by the empire. Obeying their code of no betrayal, alcohol, or showing off for no conflicts to arise in battle was a must. Like, they were very disciplined. No alcohol, no betrayal, and no showing off in conflicts in a battle. Those are, like, you know, the 3 things that will make you be not a great soldier. Their feet were beaten by falaka canes if this code was broke. Then they would kiss their punisher's hand to get back into the fold. Moreover, these Janissaries also grew up as boys, and they had a bond between them. They had respect between them. They were like a fraternity, if you will. When the division's fellow Janissary died in battle, it was the responsibility of the entire division, or Orta, to provide food rations and work for the closest family members of the deceased. Every Janissary division had a Kazan. A Kazan, which in Armenian is also the same thing. A Kazan was a huge copper pot where the daily communal meal of pilav, made of bulgur wheat and butter, was cooked. Pilav is basically rice. And yeah, the thing, they would cook this, and you actually even see it in the memory as well. Like, you see the pot over there too, which is like super cool. They're like cooking. Like the historical accuracy of like the Janissaries in this game is freaking monumental. So the Janissary culinary practices are seen in game, which is super cool. Also, another historical accuracy is Janissary's talk of Ahmet asking for Janissary loyalty. Ahmet and Selim were at odds with each other during this period, but Janissaries were loyal to Selim in the end, not Ahmet, as you will see later on in the end. Also an Assassin's Creed fact is Tarek Barleti, captain of the Janissaries, wasn't real, but he was born in Albania, one of the Balkan countries that the Ottoman Empire conquered and got children from. So, you know, like the historical accuracy of where he was from translates to why he became like the leader of the Janissaries. Also Janissaries in AC Revelations are masked, but in real life, I couldn't find them masked. Maybe they chose them to be masked for the mission purpose, where Ezio kills Tarek, which is this mission, you know. But yeah, that was the research that I had done on Janissaries earlier in 2020 as a thread. I will also be posting the thread on my Twitter later on. Have we killed Tarek yet?
I'm almost killing him.
All right. Well, this gives us time to go over the historical question I will be asking for the person to win an AC collection, AC Ezio collection. Hey, Malakas is here. Hi there. Boko, oh, Tarlik morality. This death was so like a thing. Like
the Byzantine Templars where they felt safest.
It was hurtful, you know.
It was a huge mistake, and Ezio was very angry at himself, but also not that happy with Suleiman. I think.
Yeah, definitely. Plus, Ezio was just following orders, and he was not wise at this moment. Which shows his Ezio's not perfect. Let me see here.
Just a quick note, since Six Keys said in the chat to not forget to donate. People, don't forget to donate. And since we have a couple of new faces in the chat, hello Bree, hello Malakas, and just for the newcomers over here, we have collaborated with the ones who came before for their Assassins in Need Heart of the Creed fundraiser to raise money to fund cardiovascular health research for the British Heart Foundation and the American Heart Association. If you would like to donate, please check out the link to the fundraiser in the video description. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you to for collaborating with us on this video. Thank you to those who came before. Thank you for your awesome fundraiser. And without further ado, I'll hand it back over to Arsh for the historical question. And yes, to clarify, because James asked in the chat, I think that the giveaway for this particular giveaway is only for North America or US only. But I'll give it to Arsh to clarify.
Okay. Yeah. So this giveaway, this giveaway, the Ezio collection giveaway, is for the US only, but the AC Valhalla Ultimate Edition is for around the world, and it can be for any console or PC. The thing, you just have to DM me so I can get in touch. You have to DM me to. I need to get some information from you so I can get in touch with my UB rep, so they can give me the code so I can give it to you. It works in communication, and I need some sort of communication. So that can be Twitter, Discord, Instagram, any way possible that can be. It's your choice, but there has to be communication between us. So yeah. So I am posting the question right now. So let me see. Yeah. So, guys, who were the two Vikings that visited Hagia Sophia? What, what was it? Uh, was it Ivar and Guthrum? Was it Halfdan and Ivar? Was it Ragnar and Kjotve? Or was it Halfdan and R? Answer this question, and you will win the Ezio collection. See, all right, we're going good here. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, and I think Assassin's Creed Mac answered the question. Well, his choice was D. Is that correct?
That is correct. Halfdan and R.
Nice, congratulations.
Assassin's Creed Mac. I do have you on Twitter. Please get in touch with me on Twitter, and you are from the U.S., right? Just to make sure. Okay. Who here is from the U.S.? Because it has to be a U.S. code. I am so sorry.
Yeah, if Assassin's Creed Mac didn't hear, unfortunately, while you did answer the question correctly, we won't be able to give you the code because the code is for US only. So, yeah. I mean, just from the faces I recognize, there is only one person, or at least there is at least only one person in this chat that is from the U.S. But
Okay, you know what? I can make this change. Instead of the Ezio collection, I'll give out the Ezio collection on my Instagram. Uh, uh, Instead of the Ezio collection, we're just gonna give away 2 codes of AC Valhalla Ultimate Edition. How about that?
If you can pull it off, that's fine
if
by
you can
me.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I like
I
that
can.
better.
Yeah, I can pull it off. Thing just so we still have 2 codes of the giveaway going out. So Assassin's Creed Mac, would AC Valhalla Ultimate Edition be a good thing for you? Let me see. All right, what's the next memory? Just so we know.
I think it's already the
That
Greek fire, no?
Yeah, Janissaries, Greek Fire, and I'm gonna be covering that.
Are you sure we shouldn't let Azor do some of it? Because I know that you seem to be doing most of it.
What?
if you need me to hand if you need to hand over some stuff to me, I'm ready.
Yeah, let's have him do the next 2, Greek Fire and Cappadocia, because you've had like the last 5 straight.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have a point.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'll begin then with memory, yeah?
Yeah, and
Okay.
Arsh, wait, but before you do, Arsh, if I'm saying anything wrong, feel free to interject. And just to answer and Assassin's Creed Mac answered your earlier question about the giveaway. We can discuss about it later on Twitter. So he'll probably reach out to you on Twitter regarding this. But yeah, we can go ahead with the next topic, which is Greek fire.
Okay,
Just
cool.
let me find the notes over here. Okay, so Greek fire, as opposed to what many people think, was created in the mid to late 7th century in Constantinople by the Greek architect and engineer Kallinikos. It was basically a precursor to modern napalm. The exact chemical makeup of Greek fire is unknown. However, the fact that water was unable to extinguish it leads some to speculate that the active ingredient was calcium phosphide, made by heating lime, bones, and charcoal. On contact, calcium phosphide releases phosphine, which ignites spontaneously and making the weapon actually making the weapon equally dangerous, if not more so, on water as it is on land. It is unlikely the only ingredient, however, since experiments with this compound have proven to give a much less powerful ignition than the one written about Greek fire. In the region of the Black Sea, there are naturally occurring wells of crude oil, which was called naphtha around the 6th century. So it's possible that this was an ingredient for the formula for Greek fire. Because of its effectiveness on water, it should come as no surprise that the first use was by the Byzantine Navy. This was first used by the Byzantine Navy during Arab attacks on Constantinople between 671 and 678 AD. The Byzantines kept the secret of Greek fire until the formula was apparently lost in the confusion of the Fourth Crusade in 1204. Kallinikos did not only invent this fiery weapon, he was largely responsible for building the naval vessels capable of spouting this fire. And Greek fire can also be used on man-portable or handheld devices like hand siphons that could act like ancient flamethrowers, and also grenades, which was basically Greek fire in a cloth wrapped ball. So it's like a Molotov cocktail. Just from that note. But anyway, Greek fire was in a liquid state. If When Greek fire is in a liquid state and it can be sprayed from siphons or nozzles, it burned with a loud roar and generated considerable amount of smoke. Needless to say that this was a weapon that the enemies of the Byzantines really feared. And and that's all that we have on Greek fire. It's really rather short. However, since the memory it keeps on playing, probably time for another trivia question.
Malakas has a question, actually.
If the Byzantine scientists lost the formula for Greek fire, how did the Ottoman ships have the siphons in the mission you are playing right now? Oh, I mean, this is just a guess, but kind of like with any conqueror that goes into a conquered region, they either get whatever essential information, any essential knowledge from the conquered nation, as they can, either to that would either advance their current technology or current knowledge base. So in this sense, it was basically adding to their arsenal. Like the Ottomans saw the effectiveness of this weapon, and they just took it just so they can add it to their arsenal, so to speak. Ars can probably elaborate more, but I don't know if there's any historical evidence of the Ottomans ever using Greek fire. But But if that were if that were reality, that would probably be my guess. But
If I
but
can
as
make
for
a point, is that if the recipe was lost in before the 13th century, it's very unlikely that the Ottomans actually used it. Maybe they used something
oh
close to it, because I know that the Arabs were very close to making the same recipe. Well, not the same. It was similar to Greek fire because they since they were the ones being attacked by Greek fire when they were trying to invade Constantinople. Then they tried to do something similar. It didn't really work, but I think they got sort of close. So maybe the Ottomans were using something similar. I don't know.
Well, you could also think about it this way: the same way that we look at concrete from the Roman perspective, we don't know the recipe to concrete that the Romans are able to use that still allows us to use their materials today. It could be the same instance of the Byzantine Greek fire. We just can't authenticate what the recipe could have been. So it's possible that it could just be lost to history like so many other things.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. It's
definitely.
yeah. That I think that theory was made by historian's perspective, Joseph. Yeah, good, nice. Let me see. But by the way, guys, it was historian perspective's birthday yesterday. So let's wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah,
Happy
Happy
definitely.
birthday, dude.
Happy birthday. I hope you had a very, very fine day.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice simple day. I ended at my job on Friday, so now I'm getting ready to move.
nice, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, you're moving to a great university, my dude.
Yep,
Nice.
moving up to Davis. Hopefully, I'll have a teaching job there while I study for grad school preparation stuff.
There we go. There we go. Nice.
Nice.
Nice,
Congratulations
nice,
on
nice.
that, dude.
Cool. All right. So,
Cappadocia.
Yeah,
cool.
Cappadocia.
Cappadocia. Let's do it. Where is Cappadocia?
The Cappadocia material is pretty short. If possible, can we just walk around instead of follow the memory?
Sure thing.
Dude,
I'm also that too.
let's just do the memory.
I
Yeah,
just
we're
opened
here.
it, but it's just finding a spy, so it's really not that
Yeah.
complicated. It's short.
Yeah. It's not that complicated. Do you want me to go over it or?
I could still go. I could still go over
Yeah,
it
Sir
if you
can do
want.
it if he wants.
Okay.
All right.
No signs of Tariq's men.
Right. So, Cappadocia. So, Cappadocia is a region in Anatolia, also known as Asia Minor, and Anatolia today is part of modern day Turkey. The Kingdom of Cappadocia was founded around the 320s BCE by Ariathes I, the last of the Achaemenids satrap. However, the first human settlement of the region dates back to 7000 BCE, and there are plenty of Bronze Age settlements that date 3000 to 1000 BCE. Question for my co-host: the Achaemenid satrap, is that Persian or Assyrian?
The Achaemenid satrap, that would have been the satrap of Salahuddin, I believe. I believe he was
Gotcha.
part of the Achaemenid dynasty, so it would have been, I believe it'd be Arabian, maybe?
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, because I
Let-
just remember
Let me
reading it in
double
like
check that real quick.
yeah, because I remember reading it. Because I remember reading like the Achaemenid dynasty and like names of Persia and Assyria. But anyway, back to Cappadocia. The region is most famous for its fairy chimneys, which are beautiful spires of rock by erosion. The underground city depicted in the game is actually Derinkuyu. Derinkuyu was first built by the Phrygians in the 8th to 7th centuries BCE. which according to the Turkish Department of Culture, Derinkuyu was enlarged during the time of the Byzantines. Derinkuyu was fully formed during this era when it was heavily used as protection from Muslim Arabs during the Arab-Byzantine Wars between 780 and 1180 AD. The cities continued to be used by Christian natives as protection from Mongolian incursions of Timor in the 14th century. I think that was somewhat mentioned by Altair when he had to go fight the Khans, but I think that'll be verified later. Back to Cappadocia. After the
And
region,
actually, one quick correction: the Achaemenid dynasty actually was brought down by Alexander the Great in the 320s. So the last one, technically, to have led the Achaemenid dynasty would have been Darius and Artaxerxes V.
so which is Persian Empire. Okay, that's
Yes,
where
the
I hit.
last reigns of the Persian Empire.
That's where I heard the name from, and also a quick link to Legacy of the First Blade in Odyssey. Oh, how history is our playground. Anyway, back to Cappadocia. As Cappadocia fell to the Ottomans, the city was used as refuge by the natives from Turkish Muslim rulers. As late as the 20th century, the local population, comprising of Cappadocian Greeks, were still using the underground cities to escape periodic persecutions. Um, I think I know what that's referring to, but that's another story for another time. The city could be closed from inside with large stone doors, with storerooms and wells that made long stays possible. The city had air shafts which run up to 30 meters or 100 feet deep. Derinkuyu is the largest excavated underground city in Turkey. Its complex has a total of 11 floors, though many floors have not been excavated. It has an area of around 186 square meters or 2,000 square feet, with a possible total area of 650 square meters or 7,000 square feet. Each floor is closed off separately. The city was connected with other underground cities through miles of long tunnels. The city could accommodate between 20,000 and 50,000 people. Derinkuyu has all the usual amenities found in other underground complexes across Cappadocia, such as wine and oil presses, stables, cellars, storage rooms, refectories, and chapels. Unique to Derinkuyu and located on the second floor is a spacious room with a barrel vaulted ceiling. It has been reported that this room was used as a religious school. And perfect timing because that is all the notes that we have on Cappadocia, and we just ended the memory.
Perfect.
That was really interesting, though. Like I did it and I learned a lot about that too, and just the connections that we made across that era, first to the Persian Empire, and I think like World War One era. So that was really really insightful. So thank you very much for that.
Awesome. I'm glad that you liked it. I hope everyone
Thanks,
else in
Ada.
the chat liked it.
Thanks for covering it, Zark, and thank you for the research, Ada. It was great.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Anyway, I so to Assassin's Creed Mac, since you had gotten the historical question correct, would you be able to pick the next game for the trivia before we move on to our final topics?
Yep. The final topics. Ooh. Yeah,
You all
Ada.
start speaking.
What's the name of the Spanish Templar again?
The one from Black Flag.
The one from Black Flag. There, Grand Master.
Ah, the one that you like hearing. It's
Mm-hmm.
Laureano de Torres y Ayala.
There we go. There we go.
Please
That was
say
just
that
for you, James. That was just for you, James.
Ay.
Rodrigo Borgia.
Technically correct. You didn't specify which one. You just said
Yeah,
the Spanish temple.
Black Flag one. I said
Yeah, that was after I typed it.
you just wanted Rodrigo Borgia there, man. Admit it.
Well, he was more sinister. He was more significant to history. He had a terrible haircut.
Yeah.
Everyone in the Renaissance
God.
had a terrible haircut, I think.
The man who spent years searching for the apple of Eden was undone by an apple.
Yeah. The irony. It's, we will be covering Rodrigo Borgia in the AC Brotherhood stream, so that's gonna be fun.
Ooh,
Alexander.
Pope Alexander. It's like, why couldn't he just like go with Pope Rodrigo, man? Damn. He had to go fancy about it. Let me see.
all in due that'll be all in due time for the next next two streams, I think.
Yeah.
But Assassin's Creed Mac chose chose AC1 for the next trivia question. And this is actually a question for the modern day. So, where is the Abstergo facility that is featured in AC1 located?
Where is it located? That is the question.
Before I even put down the choices, James answers the question correctly. Yes, James, that is correct. That is Rome. It is located in Rome. So yeah, congratulations on that. And without further ado, we will go through our final topics, and I'll hand it off to my co-hosts.
See, I don't find that very fair because I was also correct.
Technically, yes, you were correct. So,
It's in the game code, obviously.
obviously.
You are so technical about it.
Well,
James-
I can't actually
James
answer
is
the
literal about
question,
it.
so I'm having fun with it.
Oh, we're here to
Yeah.
have fun, so it's perfectly fine.
By the way, James, thank you for your donation. That was amazing. Thanks. Let me see.
It's me for Fall of Constantinople. Secret
Yeah.
Saint Memory one.
I can still take a break. Yay!
Fall of Constantinople.
Okay, I'll begin the memory then, okay?
Yeah, let's do it. So for the Fall of Constantinople, we are playing the sweet memory of Yusuf dying. Oh God.
Alright, let's get started. The Fall
Okay.
of Constantinople took place May 29th, 1453. The conquest of Constantinople was by Sultan Mehmed II of the Ottoman Empire. The dwindling Byzantine Empire came to an end when the Ottomans breached Constantinople's ancient land wall after besieging the city for 55 days. Mehmed surrounded Constantinople from both sea and land, while employing cannons to maintain a constant barrage of the city's formidable walls. The fall of the city removed what was once a powerful defense for Christian Europe against Muslim invasion, allowing for an uninterrupted Ottoman expansion into Eastern Europe. Now Sultan for the second time, Mehmed II intended to complete his father's mission and conquer Constantinople for the Ottomans. In 1452, he reached peace treaties with Hungary and Venice, and he also began the construction of the Bokakazane, I think that's called, later called the Rumela Hisari, a fortress at the narrowest point of the Bosphorus, in order to restrict passage between the Black and Mediterranean seas. Mehmed then tasked the Hungarian gunsmith Urban with both arming the Rumelhelisari and the building cannon building cannons powerful enough to bring down the walls of Constantinople. By March 1453, Urban's cannon had been transported from the Ottoman capital of Edirne to the outskirts of Constantinople. In April, having quickly seized Byzantine coastal settlements along the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara, Ottoman regiments in Rumelia and Anatolia assembled outside the Byzantine capital. Their fleet moved from Gallipoli to nearby Diplokeion, however you say this, and the Sultan himself set out to meet his army. In the 15th century, Constantinople's walls were widely recognized as the most formidable in all of Europe. The land walls spanned for 4 miles, equaling 6.5 kilometers, and consisted of a double line of ramparts with a moat on the outside. The higher of the two stood as high as 40 feet, or 12 meters, and with a base as much as 16 feet thick. These walls have never been breached in 1,000 years since their construction. An adjoining seawall ran along the Golden Horn and the Sea of Marmara, the latter section being 20 feet high and 5 miles long. When combined with the large metal chain that had been drawn across the Golden Horn, Constantine was confident that the city's defenses could repel a naval assault and withstand Mehmed's land forces until relief came from Christian Europe. However, Constantine's capacity to defend his city was hampered by his small fighting force. Eyewitness Jacopo Tedaldi estimates the presence of 30 to 35,000 armed civilians, but only 6 to 7,000 of them were trained soldiers. Giustiani intended to concentrate most of these men at the land walls to the north and west, the center of which he observed to be the most vulnerable section of the city, with a small fleet of naval and armed merchant vessels were also stationed in the Golden Horn to defend the chain. However, without outside support, Constantinople's defenders would be spread thin. The Ottoman besiegers vastly outnumbered the Byzantines and their allies. Between 60,000 and 80,000 soldiers fought on land, accompanied by 69 cannon. Batagli Suleiman Bey commanded a fleet stationed at Diplokeion with an estimated 31 large and mid-sized warships, along with nearly 100 smaller boats and transports. Mehmed's strategy was straightforward. He would use his fleet and siege lines to blockade Constantinople on all sides, while relentlessly battering the walls of the city with cannon. On April 6th, the Ottomans began their artillery barrage and brought down a section of the wall. They mounted a frontal assault on the walls on April 7th, but the Byzantines repelled them and were able to repair the defenses. After pausing to reposition his cannon, Mehmed reopened fire and therefore maintained daily bombardment. Mehmed was determined to take the Golden Horn and pressure the Byzantines into submission. He angled one of his cannons such that it could strike the defenders of the chain and then began to construct an oiled wooden ramp upon which he intended to portage his small vessels from the Bosphorus to the Golden Horn. By April 22nd, the ships had circumvented the chain in this way, and barring the chain itself, seized control of all the water surrounding the city. The defenders attempted to attack the remainder of the Ottoman fleet in the Bosphorus, but they were defeated. Having fully encircled Constantinople, Mehmed continued his artillery barrage of the land walls through May 29th. The Ottoman cannon created several breaches, but most were too narrow to send troops through. The city's defenders continued to repair the walls at night and reinforced areas of the damaged gate of St. Romulus and the Blackernite sector. In the early hours of May 29th, Ottoman laborers filled the moat surrounding the city. Just before dawn, the Sultan launched a coordinated artillery, infantry, and naval assault on Constantinople. 2 attempts to rush the gate at St. Romanus and the Blackernite walls were met with fierce resistance, and the Ottoman soldiers were forced to fall back. Mehmed ordered a third attack on the gate, this time with one of his own palace regiments of 3,000 Janissaries. A small group reached the top of a tower through another gate, but were nearly eliminated by the defenders until Giustiani was mortally wounded by Ottoman gunfire while on the ramparts. A rout of the defenders ensued, with many of the Venetian and Genoese fighters retreating to their ships in the Golden Horn, leaving Emperor Constantine XI is reported to have been killed while either fighting near the breach or fleeing to an escape boat. Although the Sultan attempted to prevent a total sack of the city, he permitted an initial period of looting that saw the destruction of many Orthodox churches. When most of Constantinople was secure, Mehmed himself rode through the streets of the city to the great cathedral of Hagia Sophia, the largest in all of Christendom, and converted it into the mosque Hagia Sophia. He stopped to pray and then demanded that all further looting cease immediately. The Sultan thus completed his conquest of the Byzantine capital. I find this to be very interesting because at the beginning, you see that there's a promise made to bring Constantinople down. But this is seen repeatedly through Roman history. You have here with Sultan Mehmed, you have Carthage under Hannibal, who also made a promise to bring Rome to its knees. This seems to be a running theme that just many people hated the Romans throughout its history. But fun fact, Roman culture lasted exactly 2,100 years, from 753 BCE until 1453, and the conquest of Constantinople officially ended Roman culture in Europe. And that's all I have.
That was very nice, very thorough. Thanks a lot. That was a lot
And
of
what a memory
information, yeah.
and what a memory to play with it. Like, it's like conquest. Uh, It's like Joseph was explaining like, the conquest, and we were attacking Topkapi Palace with it's good like symbolism over there, and that was an amazing research done by you, Joseph. Good job, man.
Yeah, just to point out, we were attacking the arsenal. We were not attacking the palace. Okay.
Oh yeah. Sorry, not the palace. Sorry, it's been a long stream.
We are almost done. I think this is the last one, right? The
Yes,
next one. Okay.
yes. This is the last one, and then we have a historical question, and then we will be done. Guys, if you have not donated yet, please do so. It's for a good cause. It's for a hearty cause, and your support will be greatly appreciated if you can afford to do it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, just before we go on, just to clarify, since we're in our final stretch and for all the newcomers over here again, for the instead of we have been doing trivia. However, our last question will be a historical question because as we are doing a giveaway of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the Ultimate Edition, for any platform, any console or PC for any region. If you answer the final question correctly. So that's something to look forward to. And I'll bring it back.
You know what?
What's up?
You know what? Can it be an AC Valhalla thing? AC Valhalla trivia question?
It's that's up to you. I'm good either. I'm good either way.
Yeah, let's do it like an AC Valhalla trivia question because, like,
Sure
it
thing.
thing. If people know
Sure.
AC Valhalla, they win AC Valhalla. It's good.
Yeah. Sure thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
And
that seems rather confusing. How are you supposed to know the game if you don't have the game?
That's true.
That is true. Okay, let's stick to historical questions. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
All
good.
right. All right.
I'm good. I'm good either way. And also, muchas gracias, maraming salamat to James. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful dinner.
Yeah.
Thank you, James.
Thanks for
Appreciate
being
you,
here, James.
and thank you for the donation, dude. We really appreciate it. It was amazing. Uh, all right. So we are going over. What are we going over? Oh yeah, the Ottoman Empire. All right. So we are going over the Ottoman Empire and uh, its civil strife that happened between two brothers that was covered in AC Revelations. So let's get started. We're gonna start with the grandfather of Suleiman the First, who was the Sultan at this time, uh, until the end of AC Revelations. His name was Bayezid II, and he claimed the throne after his father in 1481. Bayezid was actually a great sultan of the empire, loved by many people. Uh, why? Because Bayezid established a better system than his father. Bayezid began uh, to make changes to his father's policy. He put a strong emphasis on domestic politics in the east and west while establishing a well-ordered system. Bayezid also put an effort in conquering new Venetian territories and the Balkan lands, which we know that he succeeded in because of the Janissaries. Remember? Um, anyway, also, uh, most remarkably, his his wisest decision was his reaction to the expulsion of Muslims and Jews from Spain in 1492. As Ferdinand and Isabella I kicked out the Muslims and Jews, Bayezid condemned Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella I for leaving them behind. He sent an Ottoman navy to safely relocate the banished Jews and Muslims. He told every leader under his authority that that if they would not welcome them, they will be punished. Uh, um, this led to an increase of new skills and enhancements to the Ottoman Empire, which made the Sultan loved. He earned the epithet of the Just. So it was Bayezid II the Just. As the 16th century dawned, Bayezid saw himself in Venetian wars and Anatolian wars, with a touch of civil strife happening in his own home, deciding who's his successor gonna be. In 1503, the Ottomans forced the Venetians to come to a peace treaty because they wanted consolidation and influence in Europe. On the other side, though, in Anatolia, things were getting unstable. By the year 1511, supporters of the Safavid dynasty, who were Shia, which is it's by that time it was the second most dominating sect of the Islam, the first one being Sunni at that time. It began to rebel against the Sunni Ottoman Empire, who were relentlessly expanding. One of these supporters of the Safavid dynasty was the man that we came to know in AC Revelations, Shakulu. That was not his real name. It was only a title. His real name is debated, but is thought to have been I'm probably gonna butcher this, but it was thought to have been Karabikulu. Yeah, Karabikuklu. Yeah. Uh, this is what what his name would have been. There we go. Anyway, Shakulu, having been oppressed by the Ottoman rule, joined the Shia side to go against the Sunni Ottoman when the Shah, Ismail I, was recruiting agents inside the Ottoman Empire. The title of Shakulu actually meant the servant of the Shah. And boy, was he a servant. His father and himself were really respected in their community, and Shakulu was admired by many. Going against the Ottoman Empire, Shakulu's force were anywhere between 2,000 to 20,000 Shiite troops that were unstoppable. They were not military. They were just common farmers, villagers, even criminals who were sick of Ottoman rule. These troops came from Kizilbash tribes, which were the 7 Turkmen tribes who supported the Safavid Empire. In all this, Bayezid's sons were bitter to each other over the throne. Both Selim and Ahmet attempted to rally support from different territories and leaders. The Sultan's advisors and Janissary corps began to show preference towards Selim. Though, while this internal turmoil was happening and the Ottoman Empire was more concentrated on their political structure rather than the management of their territory, Shakulu was able to gather up forces to go against the capital of Anatolia, where he defeated them and became infamous for it, winning many battles later on in impossible situations. Like this guy would survive in the most impossible situations, and he still lived. Though later on, Shakulu was defeated ultimately, and the movement was forced to back down. Bayezid was also concerned that Ahmed was seeking aid from Shah Ismail I, the leader of the Safavid dynasty and empire, and basically Shah Ismail I was a devout Shiist, which made Ahmed less trusted to ascend to the throne. So he descended, just like he's descending right now. That is amazing. Okay, alright. So in 1512, Bayezid II made his decision by abdicating to his son, Selim I.
How does this end?
A thing that you are seeing right in front of you right now, actually, which is quite amazing. So, after abdicating to his son, Bayezid II died a month later. Selim later not only put his brother to death, which was portrayed accurately in AC Revelations, as you are about to see, but he put anyone that could have a claim to the throne to death. This meant that his brothers and his nephews were no more, save for his son, who would come to be known as Suleiman the Magnificent. Selim himself would later on clash with Ismail I and drove his Kizilbash army out by greatly defeating Ismail at the Battle of Chaldiran. Selim later incorporated the Anatolian Kurdish and Turkmen principalities into the Ottoman Empire too. He didn't stop there. He later came into conflict with the Mamluk rulers of both Syria and Egypt, who he defeated and he brought Egypt, Syria, and Palestine under his Ottoman rule. Like, Selim was expanded the empire so much that by Suleiman the Magnificent's reign, Suleiman was inspired by his dad to expand even more on the empire, and you can read his political game in other YouTube videos. But yeah, later on in Mecca, the holy city of Islam, the Sheriff of Mecca would present Selim with the keys to the holy city, which acknowledged him as the leader of the Islamic world. Suleiman, in his reign, had big shoes to fill from his father, as his father was the person who expanded the empire to unprecedented scale. And with that, we conclude our topics for AC Revelations.
Wow, that was just in time. It's amazing.
That is amazing. Oh, I
I'm
love
really
it.
happy with this. Damn.
Yeah, yeah. Shakulu was real. Yes, I thought they made up the character for the game. No, excuse, the character for the game was made. Well, the character for the game is real, but like, it is debated that. Well, no, his stuff didn't happen in Cappadocia, and it happened in Anatolia actually. But you know, having Cappadocia was like really cool, and he was fierce. He was very devout to getting the Ottoman Empire, like Sunni religion, down. But but yeah, like you know, he was very uh, fierce in his movement, which was why he was so loved by his military. So yeah, it's pretty cool to know these things. Yeah, thank you for listening carefully to it. Cool. So let's go over the historical question that we are going to cover right now.
Before we do, just another reminder to please donate to the Assassins in Need fundraiser to fund cardiovascular health research for the British Heart Foundation and American Heart Association. Link in the description below. How are we doing on donations, actually? Or, well, we'll give you a status update at the end, I guess. But anyway, on to the question.
Donations are going well. But thus far, 2 people have donated, which is good. If you guys can donate, that would be wonderful. You can do it now or at any time later on if you want to. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. I so I want to ask here. Just give me a second. What was the? I'm bringing up the question. Sorry. What was the human tax called? What was the human tax called on the Christian territories that led to their young sons being put into the Janissary service? There we go. I'm gonna put it right now. Was it A? Human tax? Was it B? Devshirme? Was it C? The Anatolian tax? or D. Turkish tax. See, if you guys answer correctly, you will win the AC Valhalla Ultimate Edition. But you have to have Twitter, Instagram, or Discord to get in touch with me. And we're waiting for the answer. What topics do you guys want us to cover for AC Brotherhood?
Oh yeah, we did say that we were going to do that, and we're
Yeah.
going to have a very nice historian in the next stream, actually. So Ahmet is going to be joining us in the next stream, and she's very eager on talking about well, the Renaissance in general. So I think that's going to be very interesting, and I would really not miss it if you can.
Definitely. I think was it Amit the one that suggested Cappadocia to
No, that was Malakas.
that was Malakas? Oh, nice. Thank you for the suggestion, Malakas. We really appreciate fan feedback.
Fan. Well, not really our fans, but more like
Well,
Yeah.
like
fans of
kind of
Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
assassin feedback, you know?
History fans.
History fans, you know. By the way, Meg won the giveaway of Ultimate Edition because it is the Shirme tax. Meg, good job.
Congratulations, Meg.
I'll be in touch with you and on Twitter or just DM me on Twitter. I know you follow me on Twitter. Let me see.
Congratulations, Meg.
There we go. All right. So Cesare Borgia. What else, guys? What do you want us? What do you want us to cover?
Well, we're gonna have to answer right away. We're definitely going to put an announcement on Twitter, and then everyone can ask something else, because maybe, for example, James is not in the stream anymore, and he probably has something that he would be interested in. So
yeah,
let's just
definitely
give them a moment to think.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, off the top of my head, I have Caterina Sforza, Castel Sant'Angelo. We can even cover like the Pantheon, Copernicus. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff, which is good. God, I love Assassin's Creed. They have covered so much history. Yeah, but yeah, let's end the podcast. Let's end the live stream over here. Thing. Who wants to sign us out?
I can do it, no problem.
All right, it's your channel.
Well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you had a good time. I hope you at least thought of the answers of the trivia, even though that James and Meg were ahead of everyone else. Stay tuned, because well, I don't know at this moment right now, but perhaps in the future there will be more giveaways. So who knows?
Yeah.
And yeah, the next one will be Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. We're deep into the Ezio trilogy right now, that I think everyone is very fond of, especially those that started playing the games in the beginning, before the whole, well, before the new, how do you call it, new gameplays and everything, the new mechanics came out. So yeah, I think everyone agrees that both, for example, the story and the soundtrack of these games are iconic, and so yeah, we'll be going through
Yeah.
the next two games all together again and reviewing historic facts and landmarks and people. So it's gonna be fun. I hope that we get to see you again. Thank you again for joining, and thank you to my co-hosts. So historian perspective, Arsh and Sark, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for all the research and the patience and everything, and of course participating in the stream itself.
Thank you for having us. Where can they follow you, by the way?
All right, so they can follow me particularly on Twitter as Science Creed, and also on on YouTube, the channel where this live stream is going on right now.
What's that man doing there?
He's an assassin. He's an assassin, but he's like sort of logged. So I'm going to see if I can get off. I don't know. I think he's a bit bugged. Anyway, you can find me in this channel and in Science Creed on Twitter. What about you guys? Where do you prefer to be found?
So
Go ahead, Zark.
sorry. So I don't have any. I'm not on Twitter and I'm not on Instagram, but I primarily do photography, but I've since branched out to other avenues. You can find my content over on Tumblr primarily, and you can find my streams on Twitch and on YouTube. On my YouTube, I have actually compiled a playlist of all of the Discovery Tour streams that we've done so far, starting with Syndicate on its celebration week, and we've done every game on its celebration week or in backwards released order since Syndicate. But yeah, Tumblr, YouTube, Twitch, that's where you'll primarily find me, and I hope to see you there.
So, and you can find me at AC_landmarks on Twitter and Instagram. Stay tuned for the Instagram posts. I'm going to be posting a lot of AC Revelations historical fragments, just like they are little tidbits of information about the figures, landmarks, and events that happen in AC Revelations. I'm going to post it today. And follow AC Landmarks on YouTube too. How about you, Joseph?
And you can find me at Instagram under Historian's Perspective, my Twitter at Historian's Purse, and you can find me on YouTube at Burn Crusader, where I do historical live streams. You can come in, talk to me, ask questions, get to know me, and you could give us materials on what you'd like to see in the future, both during the rest of AC15 and beyond, and we look forward to seeing you guys there.
Awesome. Alrighty, and with that, we conclude our part for Assassin's Creed Revelations AC15 week. Thank you guys for joining us, and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.